Easy, right? Yeah. All right. How are you feeling this weekend? You what?
That's pretty good.
Pretty good? All right.
It's hot out.
I know. Well, I was kind of hoping it was going to be like it was earlier this week. It was like just a little overcast in the morning.
It's gonna be 100 degrees today.
It's just 100.
It's at 98, 99 today and tomorrow.
Oh, well.
I was like, well, it's good for swimming.
Yeah.
For this kind of
That's true.
You wet?
If you have a pool, that's
Oh,
nice. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like just it's
Right, you
air
can't go
conditioning and.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to join, but we'll get started. How many weeks?
I'm still 30. I'll be 33 on Tuesday.
33 weeks. Okay. And how's sciatic pain still? Always. Look, it's always there. It's just.
There's nothing I can do until after the pregnancy.
Yeah. What we'll do today, we'll do a little bit of pelvic stabilization. That tends to help. Doing those little exercises just kind of reminds things to stay in place. I know it sounds strange, but it's, yeah, that I found that helped me a little bit because I had some sciatic issues too. All right, other than that, any other focus? Her shoulders and hips and back. The usual, nothing new. Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll just gonna get started, seated. We'll start with some breath work. Music. All right. So, as long as you have a comfortable seat, go ahead and rest your hands on your knees, and then take a moment, make sure you're seated tall, and then do a little bit of kind of movement of the shoulders, maybe a little couple of shrugs, move back and forward a little bit so that you kind of feel where they can release back and down a bit more. That way there's a little bit more space between the shoulders and the ears, and the neck feels nice and long. And then closing your eyes. Take in just a little bit more air with your next inhale. And release a little bit more air with the exhale. So the lungs are completely empty. Breathing in again through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Another inhale through the nose. Sip in just a little bit more air at the top, and then open your mouth and give a sigh as you empty the lungs all the way out. Once the lungs are empty, inhale again through the nose. Once again, even fuller, bigger breath. Open your mouth. Once again, exhale all of that air out. And then one more time like that. Inhale, breathing in, taking in all the air you can. Exhale, let it go, let that sigh release to the lungs. And then just finding a steady breath. Coming back to that evenness of the inhales and the exhales. For today, take both hands to your belly, just resting the hands where baby's home is. Feeling that connection as you breathe into the hands, giving a little bit more space for baby and for your body. Then keeping one hand there in front, bring the other hand behind your back. And then crawl the back of the hand a little higher than the hand in front, so it's about a little lower back. And then breathe into the hand in front of you. Breathe into the hand behind you. Let the back body fill with a bit more air. And then exhale all of that air out. Take 3 more breaths like that, working to fill both hands evenly with the breath. And then moving your hands to the sides, lift the hands above the waist, hold the rib cage, and then expand that rib cage into the hands as you breathe outward, inhaling deeply, exhale completely, and then 3 breaths like that. Expanding into the side of the waist, into the side body as well as the front and back. Bringing one hand over your heart, laying the other hand right on top of that, holding your chest with your hands. As you inhale, breathe into the low belly, into the back ribs, into the sides of the waist, and all the way into the upper chest, lifting the heart to the hands, and exhaling completely, and then 3 breaths like that, really working to find a full body breath. Go ahead and place the hands together in front of your heart. Inhale, lengthen the spine from the base all the way to the top of the head, and then bow the head to the hands with your exhale. And then letting your eyes open gently. Release your hands next to your sides, lift your head, switch the leg crossing for a moment. And let's do this today. Take your hands, your fingertips to your shoulders. And then feel like you're drawing your shoulders out away from the neck and then down the back. So really releasing the shoulders. And then keeping that, start to nod your head toward the right. So you're getting a little bit more of a stretch on the left side of the neck, and then working to move that shoulder away from the ear as you bring the right ear closer to the right shoulder. And then bring it to center and take it to the other side. Just a little gentle nod over to that side, working to draw that right shoulder down. And then bring it to center. And then point your elbows forward and then do a couple shoulder rolls, fingertips holding the shoulders. So moving the elbows up and back behind you, just like you're swimming through water. And then go the other way. Go back first. Big shrug forward. And then come back to center. So let the elbows be shoulder height. Sit up a little taller and then stretch the arms out wide. Turning the palms up. Inhale. Start to elevate the hands. Point the chin up towards the ceiling as you look up. Reach a little higher. And then bring the hands down to the heart as you exhale. And then continuing to sit up tall with a long spine. Take a gentle twist to the right, just turning your upper body towards the right, and then hold your knee with your left hand. Reach your right hand straight up to the ceiling. Stretch it even higher as you inhale, and then as you rotate a little further to the right, lean back towards the left and nod at the same time. So it's a little side lean and a twist at the same time. It gets a nice stretch into the ribs. And then inhale, come up through center, exhale, twist forward, and then begin to turn to the left and then cross the hand to the knee. Left arm straight up, sit tall for a moment, inhale, and then as you exhale, lean away from that side as you twist your upper body, your chest towards that side, stretch towards the right side of the room behind you. And then inhale back to vertical, exhale, turn to face forward, draw the hands to the heart, and then bow the head in. And lift the head and release the hand. Let's come to hands and knees. And setting up on all fours, make sure it feels comfortable to kneel on your mat. Take a moment, let the fingers spread a little wider so you have a wider base with the hands. You can even take the hands a little wider than shoulders if you like. And then inhale, draw the chest forward, find a gentle cow pose. And then exhale, find a nice big cat's breath, push the ground away, round upper back. Do that a few times with your breath, inhaling and exhaling. And as you settle back to a neutral spine, come to all fours, even flat back tabletop. And then extend your right leg straight back behind you so the heel is hip height and the hips stay even. And you're extending all the way back to the heel, toes point down. And then when you're ready, left arm, opposite arm stretches straight out in front of you, reaching arm and leg away from the back body. And then letting baby feel like baby's being hugged gently up towards the belly for support, and then extending in both directions. Take another inhale. And then lower to hands and knees on the exhale. And then taking the other side, left leg extends straight back behind you, flexing through that heel. And then when you feel steady, opposite right arm reaches straight forward. And then lengthening through the limbs, lengthening across the back body, continuing to breathe steadily. And then exhale, lower down to hands and knees. Let's have a little shoulder stretch here. So go ahead and take the knees a little wider if you like, give yourself some more space. And then step the left hand forward a few inches. And then pick up the right hand, thread it underneath, and reach it as far over towards chest width as you can. Lay the whole arm down and settle, rest the side of the head. And then you can either keep this left hand where it is, just kind of pressing into the ground, seeing if you can turn the chest over to that side a bit more. Or if you want, you can play with stretching that arm forward or wrapping it, floating it up, whatever feels nice. Just getting that stretch of the bottom shoulder, keeping it away from the ear. And then pressing the left hand down for support, slowly lift. And then bring that right hand back to the mat. Walk the left hand back in, take the right hand forward. Switch sides. Stretch it all the way across, get as much reach as you can before you settle the arm down and rest the temple on the mat. And then stay for a few breaths, trying to open your chest that side even a little bit more. And pressing down into the right hand, slowly bring that left arm out from under you. Place it back down, move the right hand back. And then go ahead and keep your knees wide, but keep your wrists under your shoulders. Tuck your toes and lift your knees up and come into downward facing dog. And then in down dog, pedal the feet. Nice big movement. You can even step your feet as wide as your mat or as wide as you like. And then work a nice little stretch in each calf muscle. Each time you get one leg to straighten a bit more, sending the heel further back and down. Maybe even letting your hips shift a bit side to side as you do that. And walk your feet at least just a little bit closer together. And then extend your right leg back. Just kind of reach it behind you and then rotate the ankle just enough one way and the other way. Keep pressing to the hands, stepping that foot back down and switching sides. Stretch the left leg back and then circle the ankle. And then bring the foot back down. And then take the knees slowly back onto the mat. Take a brief child's pose. So forearms down or forehead resting. And then lifting the forehead, bringing the hands back onto the mat. And then sitting back up into a tabletop. Do a brief round of cat and cow. Just moving the spine back and forth. And then come to neutral. Take the knees a bit wider and wag the hips side to side. And then start to circle the hips. Stretch back toward the back of the mat. Shift to the other side. Roll forward. Go around at least 2 or 3 times one way. And then reverse direction. These can be smaller circles. You can make them as big as you like. And then coming back to neutral there. Curling your toes, lift your knees up, come back to downward facing dog. This time, just to slowly walk the hands to the feet. Just take your time as the hands walk back towards the back of the mat. Let the knees stay a bit soft, the feet parallel, and then just let yourself hang for a moment. Clasp your elbows if it feels nice, or rotate the wrists, any kind of movement as you hang forward. And then bend the knees more and take your time as you roll upright. Just find your way to standing at the back of the mat. And then once you're there, standing tall, stretch your arms out, reach for the ceiling, side stretch, grab one wrist, reach straight up, and then exhale, tip away from that side towards the right. Shoulders down the back. Anchor into the feet. Keep the knees once again just a little bit soft. And then inhale, bring it back up through center. Grab that right wrist, reach it up high. Exhale over to the left. Side stretch. Keep weight even in both feet, shoulders sliding away from the ears. And then inhale all the way back upright. Stretch the arms out. Arms down by your sides, and bring the hands to the heart. And draw the chin to the chest. And then lifting the head, release the hands next to your sides. Do some half sun salutes back on that. And starting to move with the breath of it, shoulders back, knees a little soft. And then inhaling, when you're ready, circle the arms up to the ceiling. And then with the exhale, bend the elbows, hands to heart, bend the knees. Lean forward, come all the way back into a forward fold. Placing your hands onto your shins or even the thighs, stretch your upper body forward so you have a long spine. Then exhale, fold back in. Bend the knees a lot, drop your seat, stretch your arms forward and up, come into chair pose. Shift the weight to the heels, it's a little lower. Then press to stand, inhaling, reach up, and then exhaling the hands to the heart. Do that again, inhale, floating the arms wide, reach up. Exhale, leaning forward as you melt, softening forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, stretch forward, folding down the exhale. Weight in the heels, bend the knees, inhale, hips drop, chair pose. Go a little bit deeper as you exhale, and then press to stand. Hands back to the heart. 2 more like that. Inhale, floating the arms wide, reach up. Exhale, melting forward, fold. Inhale, rise, stretch halfway up. Folding down, exhale. Bending the knees, anchor the heels. Utkatasana chair, exhale, deeper, yes. Press to stand, inhale, reach up. Hands to heart center. Inhale again, circle the arms wide, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way down. On the inhale, halfway with the long spine, folding down again. Exhale, bending the knees, hips drop, inhale, chair. Exhale, deepen that seat. Press to stand, inhale. Exhale, the hands to the heart. Let's inhale the arms wide again. Stretch to the ceiling. Once again, melt forward as you exhale. Inhale, stretch halfway up, flat back. Fold back down again on the exhale. And then soften the knees, bring the fingertips to the ground. And then start to crawl the hands forward, coming back into a downward facing dog. Walking the hands to the front. And then as the hands press the front of the mat, see if you can push your thighs further back so they can go further toward the back of the room. Take another inhale. And then take the knees down, lower on the exhale. So that the knees are right under the hips, uncurl the toes. Walk the hands all the way back to the knees to come upright to kneeling. Bring the hands to the hips. Oh, water break. No, that's fine. Take as many water breaks as you need to. A little stuffy in here. A little stuffy. You're like, it's hard to tell when you're pregnant. I know. It always seems well. Let me check the temperature. Too hot. All right. It's hot. All right. Hands to hips, lifting the left knee. Let's slide the foot off to the side. Or did I say left? Right. Yeah, either one. That's fine. So toes pointing forward, arch of the foot lines up with the opposite knee. And then see if you can adjust this left hip so it doesn't kind of creep up higher. So maybe bring it down without leaning to the side. So you're lengthening that side of the waist a little bit more and getting a little bit of stretch. You feel in the knee and the thigh? Yeah. So hugging the hips to center, pressing into that foot, reach the right arm to the right, palm up. Inhale, stretch up to the ceiling, and then sweep it over that extended leg any amount. And then this is one where you can keep the hand on the hip, or you can move it down if you want to go bigger this into the side stretch, depending on what feels better, to keep it a little more upright or to go even longer. And then inhaling slowly upright, take your hands to your hips. And then bending the knee a bit, slide the heel in, and then start to walk the foot forward to the front of the mat. So you're going to take it for a little walk forward so that the toes point forward. The foot can stay wider than your hip as long as it just points forward still. And then wiggle the toes forward just a little bit and try to keep the front of the pelvis neutral so it doesn't start to drop forward and you don't lean over the thigh. So using the hands to kind of hold the hip points and encourage them to lift. Start to bend the knee ever so slowly while keeping the upper body pulling up so that you start to feel this hip flexor stretch. So the psoas actually goes from behind the back and wraps all the way forward along the top of the thigh. So it's a pretty long muscle and it doesn't get extended enough. So most of us are tighter in the hip flexors. I know I am. So once you have a little bit more of a stretch there, keeping this left knee bending, keep the chest lifting up and the shoulders relaxed. And then let's take the hands off the hips and do a little goal pose so that the elbows are shoulder height. Slowly draw the forearms in front, crossing the right over the left. And then either full eagle wrap, or you can always shoulder hug, and then making sure the elbows lift a little higher so you feel a little bit of stretch in the upper back and that area in between the shoulder blades, getting a little bit more space there. Keeping the knee bending forward, keeping the chest rising. And then carefully unwrap the arms. Take a moment to stretch them out. Turning the palms up, Inhale, raise the arms to the ceiling, maybe let the gaze follow as well. Keep the arms a little wider so they're V-shaped and the shoulders can relax. And then draw the hands down through the heart. Bring your left hand to your thigh. And then walk it to the side a bit so that you can start to lean forward and place the right hand to the ground. So move it as far to the side as you need to lower the hand. And then try to keep the knee bending forward a bit more. So instead of shifting back too far, you're leaning forward a bit. So you're keeping this back right leg extending. And then pull the chest forward a bit more as you inhale, and then start to twist toward the bent knee. And then feel free to push it away from you. If you want more space, you can walk it further to the side, or even lift the inner edge of the foot to kind of roll to the outer edge if you want to get even more of a stretch in the end of the thigh. So just take it slow, let it feel like a good stretch, like you're not forcing it. And then maybe lean the head back a little bit and open the chest a little bit more. And then take it slow to come back onto that sole of the foot and then start to walk it even further to the side and then start to move it back closer towards your back right knee. And once it's far back enough, take the hand down and slowly return the knee to the mat. And then bring your right hand in a bit so that you're even in your tabletop. And you're just going to take a little bit of cat and cow for a moment. Just a little back and forth. And then neutral spine once again, walking the hands back to the knees and then back up to kneeling. And then taking the opposite side, lifting the right knee, and then let the foot step to the side, moving water bottles away. And then keeping the toes pointing forward, and then keeping that left knee pretty much right underneath the hip, so that's even. And then holding, kind of hugging this right hip in, and then releasing it down a bit so it doesn't start to kind of tip you to the side. So that lowers down, but then this side of the body remains long. So lifting through this side of the waist so that you preserve some space there. And then reaching the left arm to the side. Palm up, inhale, stretch it up to the ceiling, gain some height, gain some length, and then start to arc it over to that side. And then stay here or move that hand down the leg if you want to go a little further into the stretch. Make sure the shoulders stay on the ears. And inhaling, lifting all the way back upright, hands on the hips. And then start to bend the knee and start that slow wiggle of the foot forward. So walking the right foot to the front of the mat. And then keeping a little bit of space so the belly has room, pointing the toes forward. Wiggle the toes forward a bit so that when you bend, the knee doesn't go in front of the ankle. And then start to sink that knee a little further forward. Take it slow so that you feel when the pelvis would start to drop. You don't want to over shorten the lower back. You want to try to keep a little bit of neutral pelvis so that it doesn't roll to the front of the mat. And then once you have that bend, keep the chest lifted. Keep the breath flowing, and then take the hands off the hips. Create a little cactus shape. And then draw the forearms together in front of you. Left is going to go over the right one this time. Just cross. And get that nice big wrap so the palms can press. Pointing the fingers up and trying to elevate the elbows further from the ground. Keep the forearms moving further away from your face as you keep the right knee bending and try to lift the upper body a little higher up away from the hips. Continue breathing. And then unwrap the arms, stretch open, palms up, inhale. We're just finding a V shape. So just keeping a little bit more space so the shoulders can stay relaxed and the outer upper arms can feel like they're spinning inward. One more inhale, lift the chest a little higher. And then draw the hands down to the heart on the exhale. And then right hand to thigh, maybe left hand to the hip for a moment. Walk the foot wider, give yourself some space so you can lean forward and bring the hand down. And then take a moment to adjust. Make sure you don't shift too far back. It's more of a forward movement so you can keep the knee bending forward and allow that back left hip to move forward and down as well. That'll increase the stretch in the hip flexors. And then walk your right foot as wide as you need to. Open it up so that there's space for the belly so that you can inhale chest forward, exhale twist toward the right, and then maybe lean the head back toward the left. Draw the shoulders toward the back of the room a bit more so you don't hunch forward. And then take a couple more breaths. So there's a lot going on in this stretch. It's nice for this front right hip. It's nice for the hip flexor of the back leg. It's a nice stretch for the ribs as you twist and lean back. And take it very slowly when you're ready to come back on that right foot and start to move it further back and to the right. Wiggle and heel toe action. And then shift the hips back slowly. When you're ready, take that hand down and gently release the knee down. And then move the left hand back into position so you're in a tabletop. And then do brief round of cat and cow, just a little bit of back and forth. And settle back into the neutral spine. And then let's do this. Curl your toes. Walk your hands toward the knees. Lift the knees and you're into that little squat, kind of sitting onto the heels. So walk the hands back enough that you can kind of do a little froggy squat. Exactly. So the heels stay lifted for this. You're just going to stay on the heels. And then we'll do a little side to side movement. Just like a little frog. Always makes you think of a frog. What's that?
How many animal poses?
I know. Well, there's a lot of yoga poses in general that are named after animals. This is really one. I mean, this is kind of a hybrid between Balasana and I don't know what else. Just a little squat. It's just a nice way to the hips a bit, shift. And then maybe pause, turn to one side, walk that arm over, and just open, reach for the ceiling. If you want to circle, rotate the wrist. Or if it feels good too, another nice one is to kind of grab the back of the skull and then lean the head back over the chest. Almost like you're trying to lengthen your neck up away from the shoulders. Lean the head back into it. And then release, stretch the arm up. And take it down, moving to the other side. Lifting that left hip a bit, walk the right hand further over to move the knee out. And then stretch up. Whatever feels nice. Circle your wrists. Leaning the head back into the hand. That's what always felt good for me. It's like, it's just not bad. Do that. And then take a moment, release, stretch it up, lower that hand down. And then bring the hands in front of you. And so however it's best to kind of come up to stand. If you need to, you can fold forward, or if you want to kind of press the hips up, lower the heels, and then make your way up to stand. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Reach up. Maybe do a little clasping of the thumbs, and then reach higher, lift the chest. Look at the ceiling a bit more. And then draw the hands to the heart, stand nice and tall. Let's do some standing poses. Let's turn to face the side, so facing chest width. And then stepping your feet wide, taking the hands to the hips. And bending your right knee. And then turn the toes straight forward to the front of your mat. And then bring your left toes in closer. Move the heel further back, away from you, so that's 45 angle. And then align heel to arch. And then do a practice bend of your right knee. It's going past the ankle, so go ahead and widen the stance a little bit. Wiggle the toes maybe a little further forward. So you can get a little bit of a longer stance here, so you can get a strong bend in that knee. And then keep that knee pointing where it is. Go ahead and lift the upper body, square it towards the side, and then stretch the arms out, but keep the shoulders right above the forward at your right hand. Bend your right knee a little bit more. Then flip the right palm up. Inhale and reverse your warrior. So the upper body is what reverses the lower part of the body from the waist down stays the same, from the hips down stays the same. And then the back hand can just kind of brush the back thigh, or if it feels better for support, you can hold that hip. Sometimes that's a better variation to kind of preserve some space in that side of the waist and the lower back. So keeping the right knee bending and extending long through the right ribs if that arm reaches up and slightly back. And then inhale, coming all the way back upright, stretch the arms out. Press into your right foot, slowly straighten the leg without letting the knee completely lock. So an important part of moving while pregnant is paying attention to the joints. Because we have all these hormones that are making everything really loose, like, you know, ligaments and joints and everything. So keeping just a little bend, especially if you tend to, like, you know, hyperextender. So a little bit bend of the knee. That way the muscles are working surrounding the joint and you're not overstressing the joints. All right, so as you reach your right hand forward, keep going, reach as far towards the further room as you can. Then you're going to take that hand down to your shin. Any point that feels high enough that the chest can stay open as you reach the left arm to the ceiling, Trikonasana. And then make sure also that you're not pushing the hand onto the shin. It's more the calf moving to the shin and the shin to the hand. So keeping that little bend of the knee, so keeping the leg muscles working. And then open your chest even more and then reach the left arm even higher. And then either keep the left arm where it is or consider flipping the palm back so the thumb faces behind you and the outer upper arm wraps in. Then maybe stretching that arm over the ear just enough that you have a long line from your back heel to the top fingertips. So you're getting a big stretch along this whole top left side of the body. And then reach that hand straight back up to the ceiling. Press into the feet, use the strength of the legs to inhale, come all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your hips, bending your knee. Go ahead and point the toes forward, parallel the feet. Once the feet are parallel, holding your hips, go ahead and bend your left knee. And then point the toes to the back of the mat. And then work that same 45 with the back foot. So bring the right toes in closer and then move the heel further back and then make sure you're aligned heel to arch. And then go ahead and sink that left knee a little bit deeper, knee pointing straight forward over the toes. And then once you have all of that, get a little more space with the upper body, square it towards the side. Keep the hips under the shoulders and stretch the arms really far apart. So reaching the fingertips to the front and the back of the room. Looking at the left hand, bend the left knee a little bit more as you flip the left palm up. Inhale, find that reverse shape. Reach up nice and high. And then either holding the back hip or just gently brushing the hand down the leg. Whichever variation feels best. Make sure the shoulders stay out of the ears, the chest stays open, the left knee stays bending forward. And then inhale, slowly come back upright to warrior two. And then straighten the left leg slowly without going past straight. And then once those legs are charged up, feel that the thigh muscles are drawing up toward the hips and the inner thighs are drawing closer together. The legs stay active. Start to reach the left arm forward. Keep reaching out as far as you can go towards that back wall. When you can't reach any further out, then lower that hand down, placing it any level on the shin. Right arm straight up, Trikonasana triangle pose. And then keeping that underside of the waist, that left side long, so you're not kind of collapsing over the leg. You're stretching through that side to keep space there. And then as you look up at the top hand, maybe start to rotate the palm back so the outer upper arm wraps inward. And then just slightly stretch that arm over the ear any amount. It doesn't have to go very far. Just enough that you can press that back right heel a lot and then lengthen from that heel all the way to the top fingertips. send that right hand straight up to the ceiling, reach it up high, anchor the feet, inhale slowly backwards. And taking the hands back to the hips, soften the left knee, parallel to the feet once again. And then with the knees bending, go ahead and slide the heels in and then the toes. And then just walk the feet closer together. And then rotate the heels a bit. All right, go ahead and face forward. Let's do our squats. So you face forward for this, you can just step your feet pretty much outside of the mat. So not quite as wide as we did, but outside of the mat. Turning the toes out. And then let's start with a little lower back stretch, bending the knees, point the fingers toward the knees, make sure the knees track over the toes, slide the hands down to the thighs, press onto the thighs, keeping the arms straight, drop the hips low, draw the chest forward and the shoulders back, inhale, exhale, twist to the right, let your shoulder drop to center, and then bring it back to the middle, and then take it to the other side. And then bring it back to the middle. And then let the seat drop lower. Now lift the chest up, make the hands lighter, reach the arms out, palms up. Press to stand straight in the legs. Reach the ceiling. Exhale, keep the legs straight for a moment. Draw the hands to the heart. And then go ahead and bend the knees. Drop the seat, reach the arms out. Press to stand, inhale. Let's keep going with that. Exhale, hands to heart, squat, drop down, arms out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, moving with your breath. So once again, you have control over how deep the squat goes. It may be a big bend of the knees, maybe a subtle bend. Just moving with your breath. Breathing deeply. Listening to each inhale and exhale. One more squat. Arms out, press to stand and reach up. Take the hands to the heart. Hands to hips. And then bend the knees a bit, point the toes forward, and then start to walk the feet back onto the mat. Move the legs around a bit. All right, let's come back down to seated. Actually, before we go to seated, let's do this. Do a little gentle ustrasana, so a little upper back bend. So you're going to come to knee for this. If it's too much in the knees for a long time, you can always fold over the mat too. Sometimes if your mat's a little bit thinner, it feels better. So once again, just hips right above the knees. And then hands behind the back. Fingers pointing down. So use this to release your tailbone down towards the back side. So it's almost like you're trying to lengthen your lower back a bit more. So it feels like you're kind of pressing the hands down the top of the buttocks, drawing the buttocks flesh toward the ground. And then lifting the chest up away from that. So as if you're drawing both points away from the lower back. Lift the chest up higher, draw the shoulders back, draw the elbows closer together behind you. And then as the chest lifts to the ceiling, lean the head back and look up. And just take a couple more breaths. Keep working those actions. Tailbone down, heart up, shoulders roll back and down, chest lifts. And then slowly take it all the way back to neutral, look forward. And then arms by your sides. And clasp your hands. Do a little bit of rotation. And then go ahead and bring the hands behind you. And then this time, start the same way. So you're guiding the buttocks flesh down. And you're going to keep your right hand where it is. Stretch your left arm forward and up. And do that same thing. So pull the chest up. And then move that back body down. And then maybe reach a little higher. And then maybe let the left arm go just a little further behind you. So if it goes in the lower back at all, come back upright, reassess, lift the back ribs. And then slowly bring it all the way back up to neutral. Lower that arm. Bring that hand behind. Take a moment to come back to center. And then keeping that left hand where it is for support, guiding that down as the right arm stretches forward. So this is a nice way to kind of get a gentle upper back bend while preserving the space in the lumbar spine. So same thing on this side. Reach up as high as you can while moving that left hand behind you further down to create some more space. And then slowly bring it back upright, arm down, and then release the arms next to you. Go ahead and slowly sit the hips onto the heels. You can take the knees a little bit wider if you want. And just shift a little side to side. Does that feel okay for your? Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to get back bends in during pregnancy because you don't want to shorten this at all. So it's nice to just find things that you can do, just very gentle working this upper back because that's really need the space. Let's a little shift side to side, a little shoulder shrug. All right, let's do this. I'm going to have us come to sit with the feet in front on the mat. So toes pointing forward, feet can be wider than your hips, obviously, however it's comfortable. And then hands are going to come back behind you. And let's do this. Instead of pointing the fingers back, point them maybe more to the side so that doesn't overstrain the wrists. And then hands can be wider than the shoulders if that feels better for the shoulders. And then at least a foot of space between the hips and the hands. And then aim for the feet. Keep all points of the feet pressing. Keep all points of the hands pressing. Bend the elbows like the tiniest amount, just like we talked about with the knees for triangle pose. Yeah, so the elbows don't lock. So you're feeling already the arm muscles hug to the bone. Then as you press hands and feet down, start to lift the hips up away from the ground. Maybe get them a little higher, so engage the feet and press them down. And then slowly take the hips back down. Pause if you need to make any adjustments, if you need to make the stance wider or shorter, in or out. And then take a moment, unlock the elbows, anchor the hands and the feet, and then press them down. Once again, lift the hips high up away from the mat. And maybe lean the head back just enough to lengthen the neck without throwing it back. And then slowly take it all the way back down. Pause, a couple of breaths. One more time just for fun. I know it's so much harder to do this when you have this weight on the belly. So you have, yes, you have some resistance there. This is harder for you than it is for me right now. So press into the hands and the feet, lift the hips, and try to let the back body clear the mat. Stretch into those shoulders. Take another inhale, and then lower slowly back. Exhale. Take a moment, go ahead and just cross the legs and then sit upright for a moment. Okay, let's do, if you want to do a little of that. Let's do this shoulder stretch. I like this one quite a bit. Take your right arm forward and then over towards the left shoulder. Keep the chest facing forward and then just thread the left arm underneath and encourage it to pull across. That arm straight. Trying to not turn to the side, just keep the chest facing forward and just seeing how far that hand can move over the side. releasing. Right arm forward, stretch the left arm forward, and then start to move it across as you thread the right arm. So it can be, you know, on the forearm or the upper arm, whichever feels best. I like to have it just below the elbow, personally, but whatever feels best for you. And then we're going to need to sit tall, keep the spine long, and just move that arm on the side. Releasing that. And then stretch the arms back behind you. Just grab the fingers for a moment, roll the shoulders back. Stretch and lift the chest, moving the hands a little further away from the back. Clasp and release. All right, so let's sit that same way we were doing for that reverse tabletop we did a moment ago. So the feet are in the same position for the most part. This time, yeah, I'm just going to hold your knees. So feet can be as far away from you as you need to so you can sit upright, so you're not feeling like you're struggling to get all the way upright. So I know it's going to be a bit of an adjustment. So feet pointing forward, straight arms, bring them inside the knees. So this is that little pelvic stabilization. So what you're going to do is you're going to, for a few breaths, press the arms into the knees and the knees into the arms. So squeeze the two together so that neither one wins. So you start to feel kind of drawing in at the sits bones. So you're just kind of reminding your muscles, okay, this is how to keep stable, how to keep everything exactly, because especially down here, everything is like moving and changing and growing. That's why there's so many opportunities for injury during pregnancy, for especially sciatic issues. So a few breaths, just kind of pressing arms and legs. And then go ahead and gently release that. Pause. Arms outside of the knees. You can move the feet in a little bit if you need to. And then same thing. So it's pretty much the forearms that you're pressing to the sides of the knees. And then go ahead and do that same thing, squeezing arms and knees so that neither wins. So you just almost feel like you're forced to do a little kegel as you do that. Gently release. Let's do one more time each way. So arms inside, and then keep the feet where they are and press the arms into the inner knees, press the inner knees back into the arms. Let's see if you can soften the shoulders a little bit even as you work the arms and the knees to press. Keep breathing. Slowly release. One more time to the outside. And then arms and knees press. Knees stay where they are. Arms stay where they are. Shoulders stay a little softer, but the arm muscles are working to press into the knees. All right, bring your left heel towards you and extend your right leg out to the side at an angle. And then take a moment to kind of grab the seat out from under you so that you can sit up a little taller. Well, how was that? Did that feel? Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice one if you're kind of wanting to stabilize a bit. You can also do that in the chair. Sometimes it's even easier to have that chair so you can just lean forward slightly. Just do this. All right, so flexing the right foot, stretching the arms out, sit up nice and tall. Inhale, exhale, twist toward the bent knee a few inches so the right arm is stretched straight over the right leg. Other side, yeah. And then reach forward over the foot, stretch it out. Reach for something, toes or ankle or calf. Look to the back left hand, flip it up. Inhale, reach to the ceiling, nice big side stretch. Take it over that side, any amount, keeping the hips anchored and the shoulders relaxed. And then inhale, slowly upright. Exhale, down. Switching sides, start to bend the right leg, bring it in as you send the left leg out. And then heel close. Adjust seat, sitting up tall. And then flexing the left foot, stretching the arms out. Inhale, sit. Exhale, twist gently. Look towards that left toes, left fingertips. Reach past the toes. Grab for something. Look behind you. Reach that right arm all the way up to the ceiling. And then stretch it over. Any amount. Soften the shoulders a bit more, but keep the chest open. And inhale all the way upright. Take that arm down. And then let's send the right leg all the way back out. And then find a comfortable V shape. Maybe scoot forward a bit. Move the scalp from behind you. Flexing the toes. Place your hands behind you, fingertips for a moment. And then feel like you could press into the ground and then sit a little taller as you slide the heels further out. And then keep the chest nice and lifted. And maybe any amount start to tip forward. And then maybe crawl the fingertips closer toward the hips as if you're pushing the ground away and pitching forward a bit. And then if this feels good, if you're like, okay, it's fine here, stay, or walk the hands forward and fold further. So sometimes doing this one as a little bit of a prop feels like a better stretch. Other times, kind of walking the hands forward and kind of dragging the ground towards you feels a little better. So just finding a nice stretch for the inner thighs as you extend the heels outward. Walk your hands back all the way upright. Grab the backs of the knees, lean back a bit to drag the heels towards you. Place the feet back onto the mat, same position. Place the hands back this time just to let the knees drop over side to side. And then coming to center, let's take a Postnatal. So soles of the feet all the way together with the heels as close to the hips as they can comfortably get. And then do the same thing before we fold forward. And place the hands behind you and use that to prop you up. Able to sit taller, shoulders back. And then this is another one where you may want to just keep the slight tip forward if you're already feeling the inner thigh stretch. Or you can grab the feet. That one feels better. And then trying to keep the spine long and the back flat, just tip below the feet out. to sit. Stretch the legs forward, and keeping as much space between the feet as you need to do a little forward fold here. So your feet, you want to be quite a bit wider than the hips, but this time instead of like out, they're a little bit more angled forward, and then flexing the toes. And then sit up tall, shoulders back, and then same thing. You can either place the hands behind you or just start to walk the hands kind of forward along the legs, trying to reach for the toes. Maybe get there, or you may want to just hold the calves or the ankles. And then just feel like you're pulling that towards you and just drawing your chest further toward the front of your mat. And maybe folding down ever so slightly, and then draw the chin toward the chest. So you're feeling the stretch all the way along the back body, along the back of the neck and the entire spine. Then sitting all the way back upright, cross your shins. Sit cross-legged, crossing at the shins instead of the ankles, so the knees aren't too wide, and then the feet stay flexed. And take a moment, just a little shift side to side to find your center. And then sit up tall, stretch the arms out, palms up, reach for the ceiling, inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. And then lower the arms down. Reaching the right hand behind you, left hand to the opposite knee. And then let's move kind of side to side for a moment. Inhale, come through center, reach up tall. Exhale, twist over to the left. Keep sitting tall, lower the arms down, press the right away with the back hand. And then with the breath, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, twist to the right, arms down. Inhale, back through center, arms reach up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, center, reach up tall. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center, reach. Exhale to the left. Inhale, come through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center again, get a little taller, reach higher. Exhale to the left. And then inhale, center, reach up. Exhale, twist to the right, and then stay there. Take about 5 breaths. So really push that right hand to the ground behind you to prop you up to lengthen more. And then feel like your chest is open towards the right, a little further with each exhale. When you're ready, rotate face forward, raise the arms back up to the ceiling, reach up high. And then slowly take it over to the left, turn to that side, arms go down, crown of the head reaches up. Left hand presses into the ground, sitting tall, about 5 breaths to ease a little further to the twist. Turn to face forward, inhale, arms reach up, stretch it higher. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart. And then keep the spine long. Feel a little bit flexed, sit upright. Take the hands to the knees and then start to lean forward over the crossed legs and begin to walk the hands forward. So if you're feeling a stretch, great. If you need to stack the shins, you can do that as well, as long as you're getting the outer hips to a nice little stretch. Walking the hands away from you, pulling the chest forward. And then maybe drawing the head in a little bit. Just a few breaths on each side. We'll take a hip stretch to finish. And slowly back towards your legs, sit upright, and switch to crossing. And then crossing at the shins, flexing the feet, sit up tall, flat back, and then taking forward, slowly exhale, walking the hands out, and easing into that stretch on the other side, just taking your time finding that deepest point, settling into that, and then just breathing into the stretch. Pulling your hands back, taking your time, back upright. And let's do one last thing before we settle in. Bring the soles of the feet together, feet fairly far from you. So sit up tall, hold the shins, and then just do a little bit of swaying to start, closing your eyes, moving side to side. And then maybe turning that into circling, any other movement. And moving around as if you're rolling around the pelvis. Just listening to your breath, letting your body get any last movements out of the way that you need to before you return to a bit of calm, a bit of stillness. When you are ready, take a moment to come back to center and sit upright for one more long, slow breath. Your eyes, take your time, settle into any comfortable shavasana. So most likely laying onto your side. Also remain seated or even kind of bring yourself to a wall if you like. Sitting up against the wall, or if you're comfortable doing that, brief legs up the wall, that makes too. Let yourself slow down. So spend the next couple of moments with the body at rest. So You know, this may be the time of day when babies are like, okay, well, dance party. If Mama stopped moving, I'm gonna move. Allow yourself to get a little bit of rest. Soften everything, let the breath be soft, the body becomes still. Just take a few moments to rest. Inhale and release all of that air on the exhale. Start to move parts of the body, toes and fingers. And you are ready, slowly take your time, make your way lying down. Slowly come up to sit. Once you're upright and seated, place your hands over your belly, closing your eyes. Keeping one hand there over baby's home, rest the other hand over your heart. Bringing both palms together to seal in front of your heart. Fingers point toward the chin, thumbs resting at the sternum. Take an inhale, sit up a little taller, let the heart lift to the hands. And then with the exhale, just bow the head toward the toes. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. Namaste. Thank you for coming. Have a great Independence Day. Oh, so I don't know if Christine sent an email yet or not, but I'm going to move this class up an hour to 10 o'clock. Okay. and it's going to be the studio just on the screen. Studios that. Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, it was just like
Starting when?
next week.
Okay, I won't be here next week because I'm gonna be out of town.
Oh, okay.
But then I'll be here the following week.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
10
when you get
down the
back,
street.
it'll be a 10 to 11:15, and then just a few steps down. Have you seen that studio?
No, but what is it?
It's okay. So this is Shoshone, so it's just cross Shoshone, and then it's like 3 shops. It's like
Oh, okay.
seriously just like
Like
a
West
1 minute
Coast
shop. Yeah, it's just right down there.
Okay.
So okay, great.
Thank you.
I wonder if I'll not have anyone next week. Well, I forget her name, the one who was here last week.
Yeah, she said she would come back, so.
So hopefully she gets notified of that and doesn't show up here.
Well, she checks the ad schedule.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, I think Christine either did send something out or she's going to. Having joined us today, but if anyone eventually watches at home.
Watch it at any time.
I think so, because